This is Blaine Aythorn for the Friday, November 7th, 2014 update call. I just want to say that I am super excited. I'm super excited on a lot of levels, and I hope you are too. I've been reflecting recently on the last 5 months. 5 months ago, we all had the opportunity, the universe put into place an opportunity for all of us as GYN members to launch this magnificent and beautiful club forward in a new unit of time. And in those past 5 months, we've been able to celebrate and participate in a lot of exciting things. We immediately launched free Saturday trainings throughout the months of June, July, and August. And for those of you who participated in those free Saturday trainings, the comments were overwhelming. Everyone said it was so great to reunite with their GYN brothers and sisters, to get more information, more education, and just to be reconnected again to the Global Information Network and all of the benefits this club, this movement has to offer. And then we led to Family Reunion, launching forward 2014 in Phoenix, Arizona. And for those of you who participated, you know the energy. You know the dynamics. You understand the vibration. And as I've been combing through the comments, and Chris and myself and Troy McLean and Greg Kramer and Jeff and all of the people who participated in that event, all of our staff members, the people who were physically there, and even the staff members who were holding the fort down at home office in Chicago, they got a chance to hear the feedback and read the comments. Many of the comments were, this was the best GYN event ever. And these came from individuals who have been involved in GYN, for some of them, since its inception, since the very beginning. But also bear in mind, almost 25% of the people who attended Family Reunion, launching forward at the end of September, were individuals who were at their first major GYN event ever. What a magnificent experience that was for them, to see the energy, to feel the camaraderie, to feel the support, to understand that they're part of a success system where we have members from all over the world that unite to help each other do more, be more, and have more. And at that event, we had numerous announcements. For those of you who were there, you heard those announcements firsthand. There are several of them. If you've been listening to these Friday update calls, you have an understanding of what some of those announcements were, and there are more to follow. But just to recap a few of them, Troy McLean talked about GYN's Got Talent. We have so many talented individuals around the world that are members of GYN. Let's showcase that talent. Let's give those individuals a platform, an opportunity to show their talent, their skills, and to expose them to the world. So GYN's Got Talent, that's an exciting contest that we're having, an exciting venue, an exciting opportunity for you and your family members and for your loved ones that are involved in the Global Information Network to participate and to showcase your talents and your skills and hopefully be able to share those with people all around the world. We've also announced new webinars, and we've been releasing new webinar content. I'm going to encourage you to access that new webinar content. Chris McGarrihan mentioned last week on the update call. He said, anytime that I view a webinar or I listen to an audio or I participate in training, there's always at least one nugget, if not several nuggets of gold that I'm able to extract, internalize, and implement in my life. So as you're listening to these webinars, as you're accessing this training, I'm going to ask you to participate in all of the benefits that GYN is making available, has made available, and will continue to make available to you as we launch forward and as we progress forward together. Now, at Family Reunion, we also announced one of the most highly desirable major events of GYN history, which is our leadership cruise. For those of you who have ever participated in a leadership cruise in the past, you understand the dynamics of that. There's something unique and magical that happens when we're on the sea, when we're on the water together. There is a unique energy, there's a unique vibration, and one of our success principles, one of the core foundations of our success principles is when we come together and not just learn, not just gain new information and new knowledge, not just forge new relationships and bond with old relationships, but when we have fun together. The Leadership Cruise is a fun event. You're going to laugh, you're going to learn, you're going to expand your possibilities in your life. Now, we have some bittersweet news. Chris McGarrihan mentioned last week that when we announced the Leadership Cruise at Family Reunion, that we almost sold out the Leadership Cruise at Family Reunion. Shortly thereafter, the entire cabin block that we had secured was completely sold out. Jeff Devine and his events team have been working diligently to expand the cabin block. I just got off the phone with Jeff a couple short hours ago. They were able to secure an additional block of cabins. It's going to be on a first-come, first-served basis. As Chris McGarrihan mentioned, you have to put yourself on a waiting list, and we will get back to you as quickly as we possibly can, and we will try to accommodate every single person who wants to get on that cruise, but there is a limit to how many people we can accommodate. Therefore, when you conclude this audio, there is going to be a link for you to click on that will allow you to put yourself on the waiting list. The events department will respond back to you, work with you, and try their best efforts to get you on that cruise. Believe me, you're going to want to be on that cruise, and you're going to want to inspire other people to be on the cruise starting February 6th through the 9th. And yes, for those of you who have upgraded, we are going to have Level 5 and Level 6 training and Level 5 testing on land in Orlando before we launch on the cruise. So if you have recently upgraded or you're considering upgrading, it's a perfect opportunity for you to be able to participate in your Level 5 and Level 6 training, your Level 5 testing, and be able to get that handled right before we launch on the Leadership Cruise. Now, as I'm doing this update call, I happen to live in New England, and in New England we have very definitive seasons: a spring, a summer, a fall, a winter. You know, my good friend Chris McGarrihan happens to be blessed to live in Orange County, California. It's blue sky and sunshine almost all year round. When I grew up in a community, in an area that was bordered mostly a farming community, manufacturing town, and also a farming community. And many of the friends that I went to school with, they worked on farms. And there was a season for planting your seeds. And then you had to water and fertilize your crops. And then there was the time to harvest your crops. And harvest time was the most fun because that's when you were able to realize the fruits of your labor. As it relates to gin, there is no specific season for planting. Every day is your planting season. Every day you should be planting your success seeds. Every day you should be watering and fertilizing your success crops. And every day you should be looking forward to harvesting your success. See, you may have planted some success seeds last month, and you're able to harvest the crop today. But you might be harvesting a crop today, and you planted some of those seeds 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. See, the crops come up at different times. But if you're not constantly planting the seeds, watering and fertilizing your success seeds, you're not going to have an ongoing, perpetual momentum in your life. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is, as we approach a conclusion of a calendar year, we're in November right now, a lot of people start to throttle back. And a lot of people, as we those of you who have read The Magic of Thinking Big, sometimes we become victims of excuse-itis. Well, you know what? I was going to start my diet, but I'll do it at the beginning of next year. I was going to read that new book, but you know what? I got holiday parties and I've got things to do, and we're kind of winding down 2014. Maybe I'll consider reading that new book next year. Oh, there's new Saturday free trainings that are being announced with Jen. You know what? I went to a Saturday training once. I went to a major event once. Maybe I'll wait till next year to do it. And so what we do is we become victims of procrastination. And what we do is we start to throttle back. What I'm going to encourage you to do is I'm going to encourage you to throttle forward. As we conclude 2014, put the pedal to the metal. Start reading a little bit more. Start revisiting some of the Jen training. Recently, I've been revisiting Level 5 training. And, I've been studying these success principles for 30 years, but every time I revisit information, I'm revisiting it just like you in a new unit of time. The person you are today is not the same person who may have read a book or listened to a training or went to a Saturday free training or went to a major event 3 months ago or 6 months ago or a year ago. Or maybe you're listening to this update call and you've never done any of these things. Kevin Trudeau was a statistical fanatic. And one of the stats that are absolutely 100% unquestionable are the Jen members that attend major events, that listen to the audios, that read the books, that create relationships, are the people who get the most rewards and the most benefits from their Jen membership. It is a system. It's called spaced or spatial repetition. I've been involved in the training business for 30 years. I got involved in the training business in 1984. The biggest challenge in the training business when you're teaching seminars or you're sharing information with people is there's no continuation program in most circumstances. Someone goes to a training seminar, they read a book, they listen to an audio, there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. The concept of Jen, and what Les Brown said when he said this is a movement. It's a movement because we have connectivity. What we have is spaced repetition or spatial repetition. We have the opportunity to listen to audios, to read books, to attend events, to get a recognition, both giving and receiving recognition, to build powerful, long-lasting relationships. And as we do that over and over and over again in new units of time, you become stronger and more powerful, and you're able to do more and be more and have more. So that's why I'm going to encourage you, as you're listening to this audio update, to throttle up, to throttle forward, put the pedal to the metal for the balance of 2014 so we can launch into 2015 and you can be bigger and better and brighter than ever before. So in conclusion, I'm going to ask you to revisit some of the training that you've gone through. Whether you're a level 1 member or you're a level 6 member, revisit the training. Go back through some of those audios. Start rereading some of the books. As you start to reread those books, even if you read a chapter of one book and a chapter of another book, you're going to be revisiting that information in a new unit of time. As I'm revisiting Level 5 training, I'm learning new information. It's not that the training is new. It's that I'm revisiting it in a new unit of time, and I'm having new aha cognitions and new aha moments. I'm going to encourage you to do the same thing. I'm going to encourage you, if you haven't done so, to consider to upgrade. We've had so many people upgrade to higher levels of training. As you upgrade to those higher levels of training, you're increasing your vibration. You're increasing your understanding. You're increasing your ball of energy, and you're helping other people do the same. And that's why right before the leadership cruise, we are going to make available the opportunity for level 5s and level 6s to have training and testing prior to the leadership cruise. People will always say to me, if you've been studying this information for 30 years, why do you need to continue studying it? Well, next week I'm going to be going to Chicago, and we're having some meetings. And right after those meetings, I'm going to be renting a car with Troy McClain, and we're going to be driving to Spencer, Indiana, to go to the Successful Life course with Ed and Erlene, Ed Foreman and Erlene Vining. I have been to that Successful Life course numerous times. Someone said to me recently, how many times are you going to go to the Successful Life course? I mean, for crying out loud, Blaine, you've been to it 5, 6 times? Why are you going to go to the training again? And that, to me, is like me saying to you, well, you took a shower once. Why are you going to take a shower again? You ate breakfast once. Why are you going to eat breakfast again? Because the same way that we feed our body, the same way that we cleanse our body, is the same way that we feed our mind and cleanse our mind. Regardless of what your faith is, if someone were to say, well, I went to church once, or I read something about spirituality once, that doesn't mean that you're going to continue on that path and continue to grow on the path in which you want to achieve. So we as GYN members have the most magnificent opportunity because we have community, we have culture, we have like-minded people bonding together that lock arms to help each other do more, be more, and have more. November 15th, Ottawa, Canada, we have a free Saturday training conducted by Chris McGarrihan. Last week, Chris mentioned this. It is called Money is a Renewable Resource. It is a GYN principle. You might want to consider, if you're within striking distance of Ottawa, Canada, and even if you're not, you might want to consider being there. Money is a renewable resource. If you've ever had a concern about, oh my goodness, my finances are slim. What am I going to do? Do I spend money on this or do I spend money on that? The best investment you can make in your life is investing in yourself. It's investing in your mind. Because if you put the pennies into your mind will give you all the gold in the world. So I'm going to encourage you, if you can attend the program, November 15th, Ottawa, Canada, completely unique program, information you've never heard before, completely different format. It's going to go from 9 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon, followed by a lunch of community, networking, and relationships. December 6th. You might want to write this date down. There's going to be 2 programs going on December 6th. Seattle, Washington, with Troy McClain, and in Chicago, that I will be conducting. These are going to be completely unique in different programs, different formats. Participate in these events. If you can make these events and encourage others to do the same, we're going to be uniting our GYN community, uniting our GYN brothers and sisters with new information, new education, and talking about how you can launch forward and how we are going to increase our membership base. And we're going to increase our messaging throughout the world. And that leads me to my next point. I talked earlier about the past 5 months. GYN has not been around for 5 months. GYN has been around for over 5 years. And in the beginning of GYN talked about what could happen in people's lives. GYN talked about what would happen in the future. Well, we don't have to talk about what could happen. We don't have to talk about what might happen in the future because we have evidence now. We actually have testimonials. We have verification and validation from individuals like you. Every time I go out into the field and I teach a seminar, every time I interact with GYN brothers and sisters, every time Chris does, or Troy does, or Greg, or any of our other magnificent trainers, people share stories and testimonials of how their experience with gin has transformed their life. And I have constantly said that I could not hire a fiction writer to fabricate stories that are more powerful and more impactful than the stories that you have inside of your head and inside of your own life experiences. That being said, I am going to encourage you to videotape a testimonial. I'm going to ask you to keep it to 2 or 3 minutes and share a testimonial if you have one. And so many of you do, and so many of them we have not been able to hear firsthand. A testimonial about the most meaningful or significant experiences you have had in your life since you've joined gin. And consider that you are sharing this with other people who have not been involved in gin, because we are going to have a membership drive. We are going to expand this club, and we're going to touch people's lives around the world. And your message might be the message that resonates with them. So I'm going to ask you to get on your iPhone or have a video camera, videotape a 2 to 3 minute testimonial. We've had so many testimonials of people saying how gin has helped improve their relationships, whether it was with their spouse, their significant other, with their family, their children, their coworkers, friends. We've had so many testimonials about people who have advanced their life in terms of dynamic health. They're healthier than they've ever been before. They're at their ideal weight. We've had people that have given testimonials on how their financial situation has improved. Their business is bringing in more money. They've gotten career advancements. So many people just say, I'm happier than I've ever been before. I'm more centered. I'm more secure. I'm more confident. Your testimonial may be one of those things. It may encompass all of those things. But we want to hear the testimonial from you so other people can also hear that. And maybe that might be the conduit. That might be their aha moment to say, I want to join this club. I want to be part of this. Because the more people we have involved in this community, the more people we have involved in this movement, the stronger we all become. I've constantly said that the sum total is greater than its parts. As we start to talk about advanced levels of training, it is going to be based on how many new people we have involved in this club and how many people have advanced to higher levels of training, because those new people need mentors. They're going to need people like you to be able to mentor them and work with them. So we create a symbiotic relationship. We create a relationship where we truly have an environment that cultivates doing more, being more, and having more through a system of success that has never been created before and can never be duplicated in the same fashion that we have with the Global Information Network. So in conclusion, I am going to encourage you to participate in the trainings, to engage in your club, revisit the training, listen to the audios, reread the books, access the new webinars. Go back into the archive and listen to some of the old webinars. Have you listened to all of the training that Gin has made available over the last 5 years? Chances are the answer is no, you haven't. Invite some new people to benefit from Gin. The best way that you can move the ball forward in your life is to give birth to a new member in the Global Information Network. Because as you see them progress, as you mentor them, there's a saying that goes, the teacher always learns more than the student. As you are sharing this information with other people, you're not only benefiting them, what are you doing for yourself? You're reinforcing these principles for yourself. Lastly, I would encourage you, if you want to go on this cruise, and every single one of you should want to, because if you've been on the cruise, you know the reason why you want to. But if you haven't been on the cruise, encourage people to get on this cruise while we still have some limited cabins available via the cabin block. Get on the waiting list, and the events department will reach back to you as quickly as possible. No, we're not going to be able to accommodate everyone, But the sooner that you get on the waiting list, the sooner we can get back to you, and the sooner that we can get back to the people that you have referred to the cruise. So hopefully we can, in the future, have more and more and more people on a leadership cruise. These major events are magical. They are a key component of our success system and our success momentum. Yes, our ship is sailing forward, and we want you to sail with us. This is Blaine Aythorn. I'm looking forward to sharing some precious time with you and one of our upcoming calls, on one of our upcoming free Saturday trainings, and I look forward to seeing you on the Leadership Cruise. Have an awesome weekend.